Hello everyone, welcome to Mocking Sapien. My name is Tanay, and today we are going to talk about the Supreme Court. What a time has come that you have to talk about the Supreme Court. So today was an amazing day. Jets went over hospitals and threw petals. This is what doctors need. It's fine you do it. You want to drop petals to appreciate them. Good, you are doing it. But other than that, you have other responsibilities. Give them PPE. Give them good conditions to do their treatment and नहीं वे सिर्फ पेटल्स डालेंगे शोबाजी तो बहुत करते हैं So let's get to the Supreme Court. In this past one and a half month during the pandemic, Prashant Bhushan, a very well-renowned lawyer and an activist, spoke to the wire and gave them 3 points where Supreme Court is lacking. So the first thing he said was that the Supreme Court is not doing enough to defend the fundamental rights of the Indians, especially the poor and the vulnerable. Second thing he talks about is the prioritization of the cases. And the third thing he talks about is the hope and trust mechanism they are working with the government. So before I get to these 3 points, I would like to give you a little gist of the past of the court. So the government tried to intervene in the judicial system for appointing the new Chief Justice by introducing NJAC. So in NJAC, there is one Chief Justice, 2 other senior most judges. Then there is the Law Minister and 2 eminent personalities. So they gave them a chance to put 3 of their government people in the judicial system so that they can influence the next Chief Justice. ऐसे तो बहुत काम किया है. Even in RTI they have done this. Like somehow they've tweaked small things so that they come under their control. But in 2015 the NJAC was scrapped and the collegium system which was there before was introduced again. Collegium system was criticized before because of the lack of transparency. But again they went back to collegium system. But now with 1 Chief Justice and 4 other senior most judges. So all these people would recommend the next Chief Justice. But even in this, like whatever the collegium decides, the president has to sign it. It is compulsory. It is binding towards the president that they have to pass it. And then the new Chief Justice is according to the collegium. But what the government started doing is that they started prioritizing one recommendation over the other, which was beneficial for their agenda, that they started approving. And the ones which is not suitable, they just postponed it. Same thing happened with the case of Justice Joseph. So his file wasn't approved because he kind of gave judgments against the BJP government. Now there's the case of Justice Loya. Justice Loya was a judge who was going to give his judgment on Amit Shah's criminal case. But a few days before giving the judgment, he died. And the thing had sparked a lot of controversy because his death was very out of the blue. So a petition was filed in the Justice Loya case in the Supreme Court, and that time Deepak Mishra was the Chief Justice. And Deepak Mishra already had allegations of being on the side of BJP. And even in this, he gave his judgment and said that no investigation is going to be carried out in this case. It's clear cut that no conspiracy is there behind it. There's no involvement of any case. It's very clear. It was a natural death. Common sense. And after this judgment, 4 most senior judges of the Supreme Court came out to protest and saying that the democracy of India is under threat. And out of the 4 judges, one was Ranjan Gogoi, who then later on became the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Then another incident happened in February 2020 in which the 3rd most senior judge, Arun Mishra, called Narendra Modi internationally acclaimed visionary and a versatile genius. हाँ भाई, मोदी जी तो visionary है, उसमें doubt ही नहीं है. If Modi won't be a visionary, who will? He is the real genius. So this also, many judges and retired judges started raising concerns over this because he was siding to one party. But what really tipped the scales was when Ranjan Gogoi, the former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, went into the Rajya Sabha. And Ranjan Gogoi was the same judge who sat for the protest after the Justice Loya case, saying that our democracy is in danger. Nice. Now in the recent times, the pandemic came into the picture and the Supreme Court said that only cases with utmost importance will be taken into consideration. But they didn't exactly define what was of utmost importance and what wasn't. A PIL was filed in the Supreme Court on 31st of March for the migrant workers and their shelter, their wages, their food, various things. But the Supreme Court kept on giving dates. They didn't hear it. They kept on giving next date. Tarikh. And then after 3 weeks, on 21st of April, They heard the case, and then the bench disposed of the petition, saying the petition and accompanying material will be considered as a representation by the center to take steps it deemed necessary to help the lot of migrant workers. Basically, what this means is the government, you handle it, we aren't going to interfere. Why will they have any bad intentions? So, do you doubt them that they will work on it? Obviously, they will. So, the actual stand which the Supreme Court was supposed to take for the migrant workers, the right to life, it wasn't taken. And it was all left to the government. The poor had already started to run out of money, and regarding the NREGA payments, a petition was filed in the Supreme Court. So that payments are released to these workers or these poor people through NREGA. But the Supreme Court said that this case wouldn't be heard until the end of the lockdown. Now, when it comes to habeas corpus petitions, habeas corpus is when you are arrested without trial. So you have the right to appeal to the court for you to have a trial and then justify your end and get bail and all these things. So these cases are of utmost importance because suppose for making these videos, I am called an anti-national, or under UAPA I am booked and I'm gone to the jail without trial. So it is my right that I can go and appeal to the court. But the Supreme Court was postponing these two. So you don't know how many innocent people are still in jail. I don't know if they start postponing habeas corpus petitions, finish only then. People like us will just be in jail. Why? बाकी सब ऊपर वाले के भरोसे. Then later on, the Arnab Goswami incident happened, the communal statements he made on his news channel, and various FIRs were filed on him. Mostly under these circumstances, the person doesn't get arrested because the police need to prima facie verify, if the allegations are true or no. So almost no chances.
Where an FIR is filed or maybe 10 FIRs are filed against a person, what is the urgency? The police had not even acted upon those FIRs. In a situation like this, the possibility of an arrest is almost zero, right? The police has to first, at least prima facie, verify whether the allegations made in the FIR are correct or not. And from what I have read, and even today there's a write-up on this, the petition was filed after 8 p.m. So what was the extreme urgency, and how do you define extreme urgency? Was there some extreme urgency that this guy is going to be arrested right now? And then you take it up the next day, and then you say, well, no coercive action for 3 weeks and so on. If you compare the plight of the migrants, you compare the plight of the poor as against this, there is just no comparison at all.
So Arnab Goswami filed a petition after 8 p.m. and within 15 hours the case was heard and a decision was taken that no coercive action will be taken against Arnab Goswami in the next 3 weeks so that he can apply for an anticipatory bail. So priority was given to Arnab Goswami over the right to life of the migrant laborers and NREGA payments, which literally came to their survival, and even habeas corpus petitions. Because if journalism goes for a toss, how will reality reach the people? And Arnab Goswami is a journalist the nation requires. And even after all this happened, S.A. Bobde, the current Chief Justice of India, said that the courts are doing their best to cope with the situation. In particular, they are selecting and prioritizing matters they must hear. This he said on 26th of April. And when it came to people's fundamental rights, even on that, S.A. Bobde said that this is not a situation where a declaration of rights has much priority or as much importance as in other times. The condition of the migrants, the payments, their food is not their right. The Supreme Court even didn't put a pause on the Central Vista project. They said that it is unnecessary, and at this time no one is going to do anything about it. So again, it was left on the government, just trusting them that they aren't going to do anything. At this time, who will do anything? There's no doubt about it. No one can do anything right. Our government is wise. They won't take such steps. We trust Modi ji. But not just in the time of pandemic. Even in 2019, when it came to revocation of Article 370, CAA, habeas corpus petitions, these things were going on getting postponed. Like something which affects a mass population, crores and crores of people. You are postponing it. Now, when it comes to the hope and trust by the Supreme Court of the government, let it be Article 370 revocation, let it be CAA, let it be the life of migrant workers. This literally comes under right to life. The Supreme Court is leaving it on the government to, they will do the best they can. Whereas it is a right. A right needs to be implemented and not just be trusted on someone. But I think you can trust Modi ji. Modi ji is Modi ji. If you won't trust Modi ji, who will you trust? He is the real legend. You don't get it. But I hope in the future there is some improvement in this and this doesn't continue for a longer time, because Supreme Court is the last hope we have ultimately. But if Supreme Court doesn't give justice, then I don't know who will. Now who knows, contempt of court case will be filed against me. So if you're liking my content, please subscribe. If by chance I get arrested, at least I'll have something, you all are subscribing to me. I'll have something I've got by making this video. So please subscribe to my channel. Thank you everyone for watching the video. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.